on her way, and when she comes, we're going to give her an opportunity to holler at us, okay? So prepare for that. But we just didn't want to waste time or prolong the time, and we were going to go ahead and get started. So as Ms. Seal said, I am Sheree Willis, and I am honored to serve as your moderator today. And I thank each and every one of you all for taking time out to be here with us. I want to start by offering a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with a grateful heart. We're asking for your guidance, O Lord, as we gather together in this town hall meeting. Grant us wisdom, understanding, and a spirit of collaboration as we discuss the matters before us. May our conversations be filled with respect and kindness, and may the decisions we make reflect your will for our community. Bless our leadership. Bless each one gathered here and online. And may we work together in unity for the betterment of all. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, so I am one of the moderators because we just like to do it differently. So we're going to have two, and Ms. Olivia Brown is the other moderator. But we're going to gather tonight to discuss a few topics. And you already know from other town hall meetings that this dialogue and conversation will be respectful and civil. We want to be mindful of our comments, to keep them to 3 minutes, and we want to stay on the topic. I know there is so much that we want to discuss, but we want to keep our topics centered around affordable housing, food security, and health care. Kind of avoid any personal attacks because the committee is here to gather your thoughts. And we want everyone to share their thoughts. Young, old, male, female, wealthy, not so wealthy yet. We want to know your thoughts. With that in mind, let's get started. No, if all of our committee members are here, I'm going to introduce them. You want to introduce them? Yes, introduce them.
Okay, I just got word that the mayor said once she gets here, we will allow her to have her words of welcome. So what I want to do now is introduce our advisory committee. We have Elaine Sims. Just raise your hand. Yeah, just raise your hand. Or you can stand, whichever you want. Kiki Hunt couldn't be here tonight. Michael McCray. Marlette Bowles, she couldn't be here. She's working. Hey, okay. Marlette Bowles, okay. Albert King Jr. Travian Love. Travian's not here. Kalisa Stanford. I know she said she had to work. Brianna Bishop. Miss Brianna. Olivia Brown. You can see her in a minute. Deborah Allen. Jahad Muhammad. Naisha Aldridge. And she made it. She's en route. And then you've already met Sheree Willis. So that is our committee, and we're looking forward to a great conversation tonight.
I'm going to give myself a hand along with the committee members because we have been really working hard. But we are excited to hear what you have to say. So let's start with affordable housing. And again, we might circle back once the mayor gets here. Okay. We're going to start with affordable housing, and Miss Olivia Brown is going to come up and share some common thoughts about the scope of the affordable housing, and then we will capture your thoughts, comments, and key concerns. So, Miss Olivia Brown. Hello, y'all. Again, from Black Family. I'm Olivia Brown. I'm here so we can all focus on this town hall meeting because we really want to know what the public wants and where you see the city succeeding and where do you see the city lacking. So we really want to Food security. Are you close to a grocery store? Do you want to be closer to a grocery store? Do you feel like our grocery stores need better options? These are things we want to hear. How do you get your fresh produce? Are you able to get your fresh produce? Would you like the city to sponsor more gardens? Would you like more things like that? We want to hear that under the food security. That's that part of our little scope. And then healthcare access. Are there enough doctors here? Are there enough specialized doctors here? Do you feel like the doctors we have are competent? Do you feel like there's anything the city can do to get more competent doctors, attract more competent doctors to the city? Do you feel like there's enough transportation to these doctors? You also can throw in minor things like lighting in the city. Do you think there needs to be a better way to keep the lights on? Like, should the city invest in solar powers? Things like that. So that is our scope for tonight. Those are the areas we want to hear from you in. We value everybody's opinion and everybody has an opinion. But those are just the areas that we would like you to focus on and we would really like to hear your questions on. Thank you. Quick public service announcement. The trunk is open on a cream colored Cadillac and your purse is in full view. So if that is you, please go out and close the trunk. And at this time, we are opening up the mics. We're going to just kind of categorize it. You can talk about any of the topics Olivia said, the objectives of the committee. You can address those as you see fit. When it's your time, and speak your truth. We want to keep that to 3 minutes. You can come back. We want to hear everybody's opinion. So affordable housing, let's begin with affordable housing. You know, what are your thoughts, comments, or key concerns? Come on down. If you're too shy, we got a mic. I feel like we should be playing some Jeopardy music. Come on, the mic is yours. Everybody's, okay, let me ask y'all. Are y'all okay with affordable housing? Yes, sir. In the back, you want to say something? Young man, can you take him the mic? Oh, well, yeah, you can do it. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Yes, I'm not sure exactly.
Is the mic on?
It's being live streamed, and they need to be able to hear you.
Push it all the way up.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will focus on the production of affordable housing. I would, first of all, I think. Oh, okay. My name is Fred Tony. I doubt if anyone disagree with me by characterizing the housing situation here as in a crisis in terms of affordable housing and affordability. Based upon my experience, and I do have some expertise in affordable housing development, that we are in great need of affordable housing. The issue to me is how do we get more affordable housing in the community? So I'll limit my comment to that, and perhaps someone else would like to expound on it.
Thank you so much. His question was, how do we get more affordable housing? Are there other comments, concerns, and key points? No. They're trying to videotape. Okay. Y'all gonna make it hard tonight.
No, I was just.
Live streaming. Okay.
Okay, I'm Cynthia Henderson.
And
the question I have is, are we talking, when you say affordable housing, is that buying or renting?
All of the
whole
above.
thing? Oh, okay, that's what I heard.
Affordable places for people to stay from all income streams. Thank you.
Hold on, let me clear it up some more. So we have to hear how you guys feel so we can make recommendations to the mayor. So that's why it's so broad right now. That's why I feel like it's just a bunch of things on the table, because it is. So like you said, with the different segments, that's why we're holding this town hall, so we can try to hear from the different segments of population. So when we, as a committee, go back and make our recommendations, we don't want to just go off of my personal feelings. Because my personal feelings on affordable housing do not reflect the majority. So, again, we want to hear all the suggestions. So if you feel like there should be more affordable apartment homes, say that. Say that so we can go research, okay, well, how can we recommend to the mayor a way to get more affordable apartment homes? Because that's what, or if you want to make houses more affordable, okay, so what do we have? So that's why we're trying to hear from you guys tonight. So that's a great question.
But the scope doesn't just sit with availability of affordable housing. Consider abandoned housing, vacant lots. What are your thoughts on that in our city? What are your concerns on people who don't fix up their properties? What are your concerns on overall beautification? Is this a beautiful city? Is your neighborhood beautiful? Okay. Let me hear from you. Okay, she has another question. You know, young man, give the mic to that young man right there and let him run it around. He can get some volunteer points or whatever. And if you want to speak and don't want to come, so they're trying to film it, so. But no, but
I'm just gonna say.
okay, but we already had someone that's trying to speak as you come down. Go ahead. Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening. I'm Travell Howell, and you hit on what I was just sitting here saying to my husband. I was like, we're talking about affordable housing, but we have other issues. I think that's first that we need to clean up, those areas of those abandoned houses, because it's not like we have a lot of land that we can say, okay, well, let's just go over here and let's just put let's build all of the new houses over here in this area. But that's outside of the city. So if we want to build up our city, we got to clean up. You know, you got to clean up, you got to tear down, you got to get rid of, and to me, that's the people that own these places, and half the time they don't live here. That have these rundown places that we need to clean up, and so to me, something has to be done about that, because see, a lot of them know that. You know, they got 60 days to do this and 20 days to do it. Now all they got to do is go put a board up and put a tack in it, and then that whole process starts all over again before they really have to do something with that building or that house, to fix up or to clean up. So to me, something needs to be done with that process, and that's what the city can do, because, we are individuals that own these properties. So what can you do about those individuals that own those properties or that want to build and that want to, so you gotta start there also. And in the process of starting there, then you gotta have a plan on what you're gonna do when you do that. So if we get these 6 houses tore down in this area, who do we have ready to, let's build up, who do we have ready, in our pocket to go? So you can't just focus on one thing. You got to have several things ready to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So she was addressing absentee homeowner and land ownership, but she was addressing what we do after we get that property torn down. Thank you so much. Okay. He's coming around to you, I guess. And anybody else, we don't have to just, take turns. This is good conversation. This is our city. This is our community, and I'm glad we are dialoguing about it.
these are some of the things that the committee has also shared and discussed.
Well, Jamel just took that from me, but,
Push it all the way up, all the way up.
can you hear me?
Push the on button all the way up. To the very top, to the last, yes.
Now, okay. Tramel just took that from me, that's what I was saying, but I agree, I'm gonna piggyback off of her. You know, my husband and I have been in Pine Bluff all our lives, and we love Pine Bluff. But there are some things that Pine Bluff, you know, need. We need individuals that don't have jobs that can possibly get a job, you know, cleaning up Pine Bluff. You know, start taxing or, you know, putting a tag on houses and giving them so much time, the homeowners time to, you know, either get the house cleaned up or, you know, tear it down. And then have somebody, you know, clean up, you know, the area, or, you know, charge fees for lawns that grow up, you know. I mean, just, it's a lot of things that I think that we, you know, people can do for Pine Bluff, if we put it out there. You know, you gotta start somewhere. We gotta start somewhere. So I got a lot of other things I want to say.
Thank you. Well, you can say them. Oh, we're just going to see if anybody else has something to say. We have a hand over here, and as they're going over here with the mic, what are your thoughts on providing education or training for home ownership and upkeep and becoming a new owner? You know.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
can talk about any of that. Yes, sir.
About the city of
Your name, please.
My name is Comey Henderson. About the city and abandoned housing now. We did have a land commissioner sale that sold quite a bit of houses. And also them houses consist of houses that have already been abandoned and burnt up and everything like that. Personally, I bought quite a bit of them. I bought like 6 or 7 of them. And they end up, about 2 weeks or 3 weeks in after I bought them, they sent me a letter saying I need to tear it down. Now mind you, I just bought the house. It was already in this condition when I purchased it. So that's another $10,000 that you had to pay somebody to tear the house down. So I understand people saying tear them down or whatever. Not most definitely, we do need to tear them down, but it's not a cheap thing to do. And if the city, we just bought it from the city, but the city don't give us no assistance on tearing them down. They own us and they charge us to get them tore down and everything like that. And not mentioning the people that had it before us, because somebody had it before I purchased it. Right. And it was in that condition and everything, but they was on me. I feel like they wasn't on the previous owner to tear it down, but the moment I bought it, I had to pay a $10,000 out of pocket to tear it down.
So you need us to look at the laws and the rules.
Exactly. I feel like the city needs to get some help or assistance with tearing it down. I don't mind coming out the pocket doing some of it, but I purchased it, and 2 or 3 weeks later, I got to spend another $10,000 to tear it down that's already been pre-existing. You don't.
Transparency.
Yeah,
that if you purchase these homes.
But they didn't tell us none of that. You just buy it and it is as is where it is. You married it, good or bad. So, and that's just what it is. And if you marry it good or bad, we married to it. But we looking for some assistance to be able to do something beyond that. Because like I say, this person, I still ain't made a dime off the property. I plan to build a house on it, but you can't because you're so dead into it.
Would you have preferred to have an opportunity as it relates to time, to rehab the property or tear it down that was greater than the, what did you say, 60 days?
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't even think it's 60 days they give you to tear it down. Oh. They most definitely, I don't know exactly how long it is, but after I got the letters, you know what I mean, you got to be Johnny on the spot, so you got to start doing something with it at that point. Don't know what's the deadline until you have to do something with it. But it does. They do put a fire under you as soon as you get it or whatever. Now, and it's in that condition to do something else with it. But, I mean, and that's fine, too, to beautify the Pine Bluff. But the fact of the matter is we need some assistance beyond that. Maybe they can give us pay for a dumpster or anything, you know what I mean? We pay for somebody to tear it down. Mm-hmm. Just some other thing that can be assisted with the city to help us clean it up and get it together. And then also with the yard and things cutting, they most definitely, they charge you with the yard cutting. They put it on your taxes if you don't pay for it. But like you said, a lot of people stay out of town. So they pay their tax or whatever now, and they don't really care. But you know, they're not gonna come and cut it every 2 or 3 weeks like you would normally do. They're gonna cut it like every 4 or 5 months. So that's part of it too. And then all them fees go on your land taxes and everything. Well, you know what I mean? But that's how they do it thus far. But I do most definitely feel like we do need some assistance with the city to help us do better with the neighborhoods and things like that, the abandoned houses and stuff like that. But that's my take on that.
Thank you. All right, we have a hand down here. Okay, go ahead next.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Linda King, and I just wanted to speak a little bit on the affordable housing as far as educating. I deal with on a daily basis, renting to tenants, you know, making sure they don't violate their lease, you know, making sure if they leave the property, they leave it in good condition. The thing about it, if you get affordable housing and you have these tenants move in, they need to be educated on how to take care of the property. If you don't do this, this will happen. Because a lot of these young kids are moving and getting property, and next week they can't pay for it, or they don't want to pay for it, or something happens, you know, and they don't understand the scope of the things, that this could be an eviction to be on your record for the remainder of your life, you know, or this could follow you, you want, you know, bad credit, you know. So I think that once that is aligned, then educating those new homeowners, those new tenants, whether it be an apartment or a home, on the value, really, because a lot of times homeowners don't understand the value of it, you know. So I think that would be a good educational tool that the city could implement to try to, you know, upkeep the property once it's rented out.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to take our last comment on this topic, and we're going to move to the next topic. You can still bring this conversation back, but we just want to make sure we hit all of the key points.
I just want to, my name is Brother Jihad Muhammad. I just want to make an observation. I know several people who purchased properties that were on the condemned list.
Okay.
They purchased those properties. They did not go by the rules and do everything that they should have done, but they fixed those properties to the point that if you went into them right now, you would not know that they was on the condemned list. We cannot go into this thing with a focus on tearing everything down. We already don't have nothing. I remember some years ago, when Reverend Johnny Smith did the Black Male Summit here in the city, maybe 12 years ago. There was a backdrop ideal about an apprenticeship program for young men, where they would be partnership with professionals, and they would be allowed to go to these homes and remodel them and renovate them. There are certain people who inherit properties. They're in California, Louisiana, they're all over the country. They're not coming back here because their grandmother or grandfather died and left them a piece of property. We need to figure out how we can get these people to the table before those houses go all the way down and give them something for it. They ain't never coming back. It has to be somebody at the table, and I'm not exactly sure what role the city can play, but sometimes you need a middleman. I was riding down Linden Street today. I saw 2 houses that burnt up. They got to be tore down in the condition they in. But then I was over here behind Blake, right? Mm-hmm. And I saw some properties over there that was abandoned that probably can be rehabbed.
Okay.
But the people that own it, they don't have the money. So we got to find out who is in a position to rehab these properties. And the city got to work with them, brother. You understand what I'm saying? If we have to give them some leeway, they're investing in the city. And you, dear brother, if there's a property like that, you should be getting with the city to make adjustments. Send those emails. CC those emails to the mayor. So look, this is what I want to do with the property. I need a little bit more time.
Okay.
Because if you're investing, then the city wants to support you in the investment. And if it's something that the city can do, it's your responsibility to let the city know, I need this help, here's what I'm trying to do. And then the city has a responsibility of trying to make those accommodations, but they need to know.
Thank you, yes, that's very good, some very good comments. And again, did I hear my name? I'm sorry. Okay, we're gonna take this one last comment and then we're gonna go on to our next topic, okay, sir? And we thank you guys, have some good nuggets. Everybody had something good for our committee to work with. And this is the cherry on the top. Go ahead, tell us your name.
All right, my name is Reggie Bishop, and I got one small issue that I think needs to be addressed. So I have a property that's off Poplar Street that was condemned absolutely in advanced time frame than what was allotted. But when I drive around, I see multiple properties that should have been condemned years ago, but my property, which had a fire, which had fire damage and was advanced very quickly, and it was advanced by a home again. They complained about my property, then all of a sudden, everybody started moving. But when we complain about something or when we need something done, it's picks and chooses amongst who they listen to and who they favor. And so it was a little politics behind it after I found out about it, but I just don't believe that that's fair amongst somebody who's investing back into the city. We was already 80% done with the home. I can understand if the home was fire damaged and then, obviously wasn't no work done to it, but we was 80% done with the home, and unfortunately, somebody broke in, stole the AC unit in the copper, and they ended up setting the house on fire. Well, it was only partial of the home. Well, at this point, of course, it takes time with the insurance and things to that degree, and right before the insurance decided what to do, the city tore down the house. I didn't know that. We was leaving church, and I drove by the property, and my house is gone.
Oh, wow.
Literally. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know who to call on at that point. But, when I saw it. So we went down to the city to get answers, and unfortunately, there wasn't no answers. It was literally...
You're wanting more transparency and more equity
absolutely.
In the division of the rules. Okay, all right. Well, we got that down, committee. Okay, thank you so much. All right, the next topic, so keep the comments coming. The next topic is food security. Your access to nutritious food is fundamental needs. Yet many of our neighborhoods face food insecurities. You got to drive all the way across town to go to a grocery store. How accessible are fresh fruits and vegetables to our citizens of Pine Bluff? How far do you have to go to get to the grocery store? What about community gardens? Maybe on some of these abandoned properties. What about food pantries? Food hub? What are your thoughts, comments, or key concerns? The floor is open.
I would like to see a fresh market, like something that Little Rock has. People are going towards, better health.
Improving their, asking you, because they're streaming it, and we want the people at home to hear your beautiful comments.
Okay.
And maybe even see your lovely smile. Okay? Thank you.
So, yeah, I would like to see a fresh market where they have organic foods, fresh vegetables, and things like that. We do need a grocery store, especially over here on Harding, where we did have a super one. And so there's so many people that are kind of like displaced with that. But I would like to see a fresh market here.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts? Does the elderly have access to fresh fruits and vegetables and food? What about the children? Especially when school is out. Do we have programs in our city that addresses the hungry? You know, I saw in the news avocados might be $2 each, $2.99 each. You know, what about community gardens on some of these abandoned property lots? Any comments on food security? Are we good? Y'all saying no, but why not? What's wrong? What do we need to do?
What would we do? I mean, how do you go about getting people who, like my mom, she was a master gardener. But how do we go about, getting those plants?
You just, yes.
Learn how to.
I know, and I got to we're videotaping it, streaming it live. People want to hear you. So that's why we have the mic.
Okay. So how do you go about bringing those that, like want to, create a garden, a master gardener? I know we have food pantries. Deborah Allen's doing a fantastic job with Living Grace. But, how do we bring people in to do these kind of things, Because some of the gardens that I see around town, they're overrun and they're really not being taken care of.
So you're talking education for those who want to do gardens. Yes. And to play a part in growing their fruits and vegetables, okay?
Yes, yes.
All right, very good comment. Anybody in this area got something to say? I'm just running this young man. I thank you, Mr. Corian O'Keefe. Be sure to give him a round of applause at the end for being our mic runner. Anybody? Okay, we talked about gardening and education. What about if we had a food hub? She mentioned a marketplace, a place where a lot of these restaurants throw away a lot of food that they didn't serve at the end of the day. We have homeless shelters. We have youth groups. We have communities, rehab facilities that maybe can use some of this. What are your thoughts on that? I know in other communities in the state, they have situations in which restaurants get a tax break on donating the foods that they no longer need. Grocery stores, it's about to go old, maybe a week before it expires, or the fruits and vegetables, when they're getting a new shipment in of tomatoes, then they donate it to these food hubs that serves as a place to recycle the food out to the community and those who need it for a smaller fee or no fee. What you say about that, Pine Bluff? I mean, y'all just looking at me and y'all look good, but I need y'all to talk back to me. Okay, this side got some comments. Y'all good on food over here? Committee members you can talk to. All right, come on now, come on, because we're trying to extract the information. Committee members can come to the mic. Oh, you don't want to come to the mic? Okay, you gonna make them come? Okay, come on. But we want to extract the information.
Right.
To get the dialogue going.
Right, so I was trying not to say anything because I'm on the committee, and I know this is to get feedback from the community, but we do need to look into educating people, and I know there are some programs here through
4-H and other. Yeah, extension and 4-H. But we really need to consider educating the community, the broader community, on how to garden, on how to raise vegetables and things like that. And I know if we actually promoted it, it's here, there are programs here, but I know if the city or whichever, I know our committees are just temporary, but if there was actually something that we could promote or could be promoted through the city to encourage fresh fruits and vegetables to be grown in our backyards, I'd like to see more of that. In addition to the market, we do need the market. We need markets where we can go and purchase our organic foods and our healthy foods, but also growing our own. And a lot of us I grew up with gardens. You know, we never bought fresh fruits and vegetables. And I grew up in a time where my grandparents, they believed in bartering. You know, we had folks that, trading, right. For those who don't know what bartering, the younger folks, we bartered. My grandparents bartered, you know, and so I would love to see us, not that we have to barter, but it would be good because it creates community. It creates community, and it's a good thing. And so, but I would, you know, we had gardens, and then we had a whole pea patch, and then we would sell peas. We'd pick them by the bushel, and we'd sell them, and we'd shell them if they paid, you know. And this was old school, shelling by hand. But so I grew up doing all of those kinds of things. So I really would like to see some type of education component through the city to encourage us going to more home gardens, raised beds, you know, all of that. That's, yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, we have a couple of hands back here. And we really appreciate your comments because we can't present a full package to the mayor unless we hear your voice.
Hi, I'm Makidia Henderson. I think that that's a good partnership for the schools. When I was in school, part of our volunteer activities was beautifying different areas in Pine Bluff and doing like the gardening. Kids have to have 100 hours of community service anyway. And that might be a way to build some interest, expose them to something that could tie them to tradition. You could even do therapy in gardening. Like you can combine those things in a lot of different ways so that kids are learning a new skill and they could partner with people who are master gardeners to trade stories about our history, whatever that might look like, to make it healthy and healing for our community, and it might transform some lives.
That's very good. That's very good. Thank you so much. And we had a hand back here. We're talking food security.
Well, she actually took because I remembered the Boys and Girls Club here in town under your guidance, if I'm not mistaken. They did a master garden. They were doing gardening, and the kids teaching the students that were coming over to the Boys and Girls Club. I was like, that's something that could definitely start back. And then, like she was saying, the master gardeners, we don't know who those people are, but if you offer that, you never know who's going to come out of the woodworks from our grandparents and parents that have that skill and are willing to come out and teach that skill. And like she said, you know, there's other programs that are out there that we can tap into, because Sheila's Design that's here in town, she's in a Master Gardeners club that's out of Little Rock in Sherwood that they do. And because she was trying to get me to start doing the backyard, you know, thing. So I was like, so there are other organizations that can offer that training and help for us.
Thank you so much. And the gardening doesn't just deal with fruits and vegetables, which is a lovely thing, and we have some hands over here, but it also can help you beautify your city, your neighborhood, your street, and it can teach you to help the economy by using gardening plants and that are absorbent for water, so we can plant those in the flooded areas to help cut down on some of this flooding and erosion of the land. So there's a lot of things that can be gained through knowledge of the earth and plants and such.
I just want to say that a lot of things start from the inspiration of others. We have to question, what are we doing? Are we growing anything? I remember some years ago, probably 2-3 years ago, OB started the Grow Something Challenge. And they had just brought a piece of land, and there was a sister in the city who had some plum trees. Some of them she hadn't planted, and she gave me one, and I went and planted it. And so last year, we were able to get our first harvest from that plum tree. Just 2 days ago, I went out to Jones Feed and purchased a plum tree. Because when I was a child, like Kamara Seals mentioned, in this city, you could go around any block and find a plum tree, an apple tree, a pear tree, and you didn't have with children who probably couldn't get anything to eat for whatever reason, were able to go around the corner and get a plum or to get some, whatever it was. We have a responsibility to set the tone. You're in this room not as a coincidence. You're here because you're concerned. What better way to express that concern and inspire others than to find something yourself to grow? I took great pleasure, Kamara, in taking my 5-year-old daughter out to that tree that we planted to get the first fruit off of that tree. And so I made a commitment to myself, every year I'm going to plant at least 2 trees on my property. Some of you all now are cutting down trees that you can't benefit from. What you going to replace it with? If we set the tone, even as we are in our 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s, if we set the tone for the young people that's coming up, they'll follow. The problem is we have not set the tone by setting the example. This is the time period. Let it be our business to plant something now and promote the planting of it on social media and to show the growth of it. And when we go back to the ground to pour that first fruit, we should be showing others the realm of possibility of what you can do in your own yard, no matter how small it is.
That's good, very good, to lead by example. Well, you are some of the example setters in the room. Any final thoughts on food security? We're going to move on to healthcare access. Many residents face challenges in accessing affordable health care. What are the biggest barriers in Pine Bluff? And what is being done to address them? Does Pine Bluff offer health care accessibility to all age groups and demographics? Regarding accessible transportation to these appointments and services. How we look in Pine Bluff? What about specialized care? Mental health care? In-home services? And urgent care needs? What are your thoughts, comments, or key concerns? Somebody say, hand me the mic, okay? You should have known where to start. No, and we thank you for your comments. We want to hear from all of you all, so we do have a survey that you all get to offer your comments if you just didn't want to get on the mic tonight. So we need you to get that survey and take it and send it to your friends and colleagues, because we want everybody's opinion. The young people and the oldest person in Pine Bluff, we want to know about what you think too. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, I'm Cynthia Henderson again. So, in my opinion, I think for Pine Bluff, Jefferson County, education, lack of education about your health, especially, you know, the elderly, they have these things, they believe that they know what to do for certain ailments. It's just lack of education. I think if we as a community get more involved in like doing health fairs, you know, through sororities do that. The nurses, the students, they could help. I mean, we just need to get the education out there. We need to have more health fairs for our community. We could do it through churches, you know, but we just need for people to, you know, get it started, you know, and get the education out there. I know congestive heart failure, hypertension, diabetes, that's rampant in the Black community, okay? And so we just need to just get this out there and also, you know, just try to identify what the, you know, real issue is, you know, whether it's just lack of transportation, like you said, or, you know, not having, I think it's trust. A lot of people don't, you know, they don't trust, you know, like they used to, but I don't know, it's just a lot of things.
So it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things she said, and thank you for your comments. We are talking about healthcare and the accessibility that Pine Bluff has. Are we good? She mentioned community fairs and festivals. Do people come out to those? What can attract them out? She mentioned people being afraid, so there's a lack of trust. How can we overcome that challenge? Then she mentioned transportation. But I want to offer to you all a point of consideration, and that being, do you know what you got in your own community? If someone needed a certain service, do you know how to direct them to get that service? What are your thoughts, comments, and key concerns as it relates to healthcare?
Okay.
Okay.
Guess it's my turn again.
Okay.
Tremere Howard. So, I agree that it's lack of education. I agree that it's a trust factor. But I do know that we do have qualified physicians in areas that are here, but you have to get past your fear of, you know, making that appointment and going to that appointment and keeping that appointment. And then we have to educate, and sometimes we have to give nudges to our elderly people, aunts, uncles, you know, that need that because they know they need some help, but then they're like, no, I don't want to go. Because then they start to think about, how much is this going to cost me? You know, when I go, when I can make this stew up here at the house, you know, to help myself. So, you know, we have to definitely want to educate. And we do, and I know we have quite a few health fairs. So we have to definitely get the word out. So just a plug, we got one on next week, next Saturday, the 15th. The Pine Bluff chapter of the Links Incorporated partnered with the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, their health services department, so that we can have a health fair on campus. And so we're trying to go from infants to our elderly with the things that we're covering at that health fair. But you got to get the word out, and you got to continue to push, and then you got to get people who's willing to pick up some of those elderly people to come, because we're going to have some screenings. So you got to we got to work this thing together. But like when you said, do we know what we have in our back door, in our backyard? And when you come to that, there's no easy way. There's no, okay, I want to see everything that we have. We don't have like a website we can go to and say, okay, now these are all of our physicians in our area.
So that's a concern.
Right.
Some communities have websites that list all of everything in their community.
So we need to look at that.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we have some more hands. You know, this is the topic y'all been waiting on, I guess.
My name's Robert Treadwell. The question that I have is we have a health department here.
Yes, we do.
Do we have anybody in city government that works hand in hand with them to deal with whatever we might have that is a problem for the community? This measles outbreak right now, it's in Texas. They've had deaths in Texas. It's now in New York. It's spreading across the country, okay? My question is the health department tracking this, and who do we have in the city that's making contact with the health department in order to get this word out to the schools, the parents, and concerned citizens in this area?
I'm not sure of who in the city, but as a health department employee for 24 plus years and some former health department employees in the room that's also on this committee, we do work hand in hand in tangent to get the word out, to let everybody know in those communities that are affected, and we also give out and provide information to those communities that may want information. We tell everybody everything. We try to be transparent, and so all someone has to do is ask.
Have you ever taken it to people that per se did not ask at these health fairs? I hear about them at Pine Bluff High School. I hear them out at the college. I hear them in different places. Have they ever tried setting up a couple of tents, say at St. John's, and having a health fair?
Yes, they do.
St. John's? And
they even have particular people who work with those departments to do that. For example, my job title is the faith-based coordinator for the whole state. And my job is to work with all the places of worship to try to coordinate those services and information, to work with the churches and those places of worship. And when they want to know something, they're concerned about measles, then I connect them with the health department and those individuals who can provide information and whatever they need, screenings and such. And so they do have other people besides me. I just focus with the places of worship, but other people focus in those communities. They are hired, their purpose is to get out into the community, including Pine Bluff, and spread the word and share health educational information and provide guidance and set up help and assistance as needed, when needed, and where needed. And we work 24/7, okay? So we're there for you. Okay, any other questions? And well, I'm gonna stop at this time.
Well, the one comment she clarified.
He's talking about the city, a liaison between.
Right, the city, but for the state, but I'm saying the state works with all cities. I don't know the actual person in Pine Bluff that may be a liaison, but anybody, the health department works with all cities. Maybe I'm not saying it right, Elaine, if you wanna, yeah, come on.
Good evening. I'm a former employee of the Arkansas Department of Health, and so we do track those. MMR, measles, mumps, rubella, that's not actually a problem in Pine Bluff because we don't have, like, certain states have exemptions. We have exemptions, but immunization is really not a problem in Pine Bluff and Arkansas, maybe in some of the upper northwest parts, but in this particular area, most of our children are immunized, and they have to be immunized before they can go to school. Now, if you're an adult, you know, you may. Okay, so how we work, it's really based upon, it's gonna be like the school systems, and if there is a child or if there's an outbreak, then that person is contacted. They have I can't think of that, well, the school health nurses are also someone at the health department that, public health, there's investigator. And so they investigate those if there's an outbreak of something but measles, mumps, rubella is not really, that's really not our issue, and I hope I'm answering your question as far as if there is a person. But it's a reportable disease if there is an outbreak. And there's someone at the health department that does track that as well. And they do contact that person as well as any other person they come in contact with. So I hope I've answered your question.
And it goes to the point that they will contact key people in the city, even if it means the mayor or key responders in the city based on that city's framework, the county judge. Key people in those local areas are notified and they are at the table as the discussion is being made over whatever the public health significance includes, you know, when we have outbreaks of STI or a foodborne outbreak or something as a public contamination that might be of concern. They immediately work with the local and the county officials and citizens. Okay? All right. Any other questions on health access? We have something over here. Thank you.
I just want to say, you know, being in this city, we have to be very, very careful how we represent where we're from. I had the opportunity to participate in a National Institute of Health grant program that partnered up with UAMS for this county. And one of the things I noticed is going to conferences and workshops, one of the things I noticed that stuck out to me was Jefferson County has a horrible name. A horrible name in the state when it comes down to being able to work with people as it relates to health issues and grant funding. If you're talking about the Stamp Out Smoking, there was a big grant that came. Jefferson County was the focus, could not get the preachers to participate. Just to try to encourage the congregations to quit smoking and to give the educational information that was needed and there was funding for it, just couldn't get them to participate. OB wife recently has really been on the ground hitting it hard with HIV prevention, because it is an issue here. Difficult to get people to respond. So I think one of the things we need to do is we need to look at how we represent the importance of this and how we push other people to get involved, even if it means just grabbing somebody and taking somebody to the health screening with you. That's
all right.
important.
We're leading by examples, and I'm proud to be from Jefferson County, and I tell everybody that, and I know you are, and most of us in this room are, because that's why we are here. And we can change the narrative by being the example. You know, long ago, the stereotype was all of us was this way or that way, and when they meet you, that's your opportunity to switch the narrative as it relates to Jefferson County. But I did hear one thing that he was saying: we need to figure out a way to change the narrative and to get beyond some barrier so that we can have these health services in our community. Yeah, she's got the mic now.
I'm Makidia Henderson again. I think one of the missing pieces in us knowing what's in our community is we used to have this thing called a phone book. And we don't have a directory anymore to know what businesses are here. And I know older people relied on it heavily. It was a staple in households. So if our Chamber of Commerce or something like that could produce something for its citizens that says what businesses are here, what organizations do what, that might be helpful and something that can just be put in mailboxes so people know what's in the city, and we reproduce that annually.
I have seen that in other communities throughout the state, and I thought it was really great because there is a growing smaller population that doesn't do everything online. And speaking of which, we have some online questions. Because we are live streaming, y'all. Come to the mic, please. Or you want me to read it? If you...
Okay, so some comments from the live stream. This is when we were first talking about affordable housing. So someone said, what affordable housing, everything is too expensive. So, well taken, we need affordable housing. I think we determined that already during that conversation. Now there is a question here about HUD funds. Are there HUD funds being used for housing here? We'll take note of that. That's something that, probably, Michael McCray or Lori Walker can answer. Are HUD funds being used in Pine Bluff for housing development?
So yes, we do offer a down payment assistance program for people looking to buy a house.
Okay.
All of the HUD funding is income driven, so of course if they're eligible for assistance, that's one of the development opportunities is to purchase a home. So we do have the down payment and closing costs.
Okay, identify yourself, Ms. Walker.
Okay, I'm Lori Walker Galache. I am the Director of Economic and Community Development for the City of Pine Bluff, and we do administer the HUD funds in our department. We offer a home buyer assistance program where we can assist with down payment and closing costs. We do also have a rehabilitation program for owners of housing. If you're owner occupied, you live in your house. So those are opportunities that we have at this time.
Okay, so are funds still available? That's another question.
Yes.
Funds are still available. Okay, so they can go to your department to apply?
So we have a annual application process for the rehabilitation program, but it's an ongoing basis for the home buyer assistance program. So anytime someone can come into our office and pick up an application packet. We do have those on our website as well.
Okay.
For the home buyer assistance, and so that's a rolling basis anytime.
Okay, that's great. So that answered those questions about that. Let's see, the city. Okay, and then here's another question about the city, and this is probably the committee can take this and consider it into our report. Has the city reached out to the fraternities and sororities and high school clubs to teach them and promote outreach in community gardening? So that's when we were talking about gardening and food insecurity. And so that's something we can, a consideration that can be included in our report. And I think that's it. Yeah, so that's it for the online. Are y'all going to, okay, somebody want a grocery store on the east side. Okay, we've talked about that. That actually is not going to be a grocery store. It's some other retail. Roses. So flowers, I guess. Oh, I'm sorry. They said roses. Oh, I'm sorry. Flowers. It's called Roses. I'm going to leave it. Let me let you. Apartment store, a department store. Okay, thank you. All right, so that's it for the online. So thank you all for watching online that shared those comments and questions.
Okay, so we want to just recap because we still have a few minutes, and we want to also take a few minutes to talk about our survey. But I don't want to close out the comment section without giving you an opportunity to comment on affordable housing, abandoned properties, absentee owners, beautifications, also on food security, community gardens, food hubs, food pantries, healthcare, access to transportation, access to urgent care. Do you know what specialty services are offered in Pine Bluff? Do you know where to go? What about in-home care and urgent care needs? Dental, optical, you need your eyes done. Where you go? Any final thoughts on any of those subjects, those topics, questions? Your final thoughts, comments, or key concerns? So I want to thank the committee for making me the moderator. But you should have, if you've been in person, gotten a Social Impact and Sustainability Committee survey. There also is a QR code that basically says, if you didn't get one of those surveys, raise your hand and one will be given to you. There is a QR code. It's the same thing as the paper. You can scan it for those tech folks. Let me hold it still so you can zoom in on it. We do have copies, but we can scan it, and you can scan it and fill it out. Thank you. Scan it and fill it out tonight and send it to your friends so they can fill it out. We want to hear from everybody. Everybody. It's going to be posted. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Olivia.
Hello, everybody. I'm back. So, yeah, like she said with the survey, and after this, we're going to ask for the mayor to come and give her thoughts. We really need everybody to do this survey tonight, if possible. We're going to post the link for everybody watching. We're going to post this after we get done here tonight. But if you haven't done the survey, please do the survey. Send it to anybody you know that's going to do the survey. Because, again, we can't make good quality suggestions if we aren't listening to the city. Because there's a lot of things we heard tonight that we have never talked about. So this has been very informative for our committee. We're so excited to hear everybody's opinions, even online. But it doesn't work if we don't hear from everybody. So please, please, please send it to everybody. If you texting somebody right now, send them the link. Tell them to wait for the link. Fill this out real fast. I think it's less than 5 minutes. It doesn't take that long. Just click, click, click. Yeah, click, click. 2 minutes. I'm giving 5 because everybody don't read real fast. So I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. But it really could take 2 minutes. If you're an A-level reader, 1 to 2 minutes. But if you don't read real good, 5 minutes of your time go real slow. And we want to hear from everybody because it's for everybody, because the city is for everybody. So at this time, can our wonderful, illustrious mayor, Miss Vivian Flowers, come up?
You're either doing something really right or really wrong when someone calls you illustrious. So thank you all so much for showing up. I was able to capture, and I apologize I wasn't able to deliver the welcome, but I'm really glad to actually deliver closing remarks and hear and see all of the rich conversation that was happening. So I just wanted to touch on a few things. First of all, this committee, we started when we put it together, and Ms. Seals agreed to take the lead on this. She called it, this is a catch-all committee. And it's really not. I mean, when you think about sustainability really is a catch-all sort of dynamic of living and leading. But you can't grow a community, you can't be healthy, you can't progress if you're not healthy, right? If your environment is damaging to your health. And so this really is super valuable, and I'll echo, it really doesn't take that long. Like, I came in, and as I was listening, I filled it out in like 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes. It was very quick, easy, but really important information. They did a good job of allowing you to answer important questions by checking a box, for real. So please do it. And I even answered in a little narrative with a couple of sentences. So HIV/AIDS prevention. We think that COVID, the flu are all things that happened in the past. Measles, there's an outbreak right now. There's an outbreak right now in this state of measles. There's a fear of polio. Leadership matters. If we don't have federal protections, leadership on protecting the public, whether it's inoculation, whether it's dealing with bird flu, then we are kind of sitting ducks, and we better hope that we have the health resources and protections to deal with those things when and if it affects us. So we just need to be aware on prevention on all fronts, and we need to know, what agencies, resources, clinics are there to help us when we need it, and especially for our most vulnerable, our seniors and our children. Smoking prevention, that's a public health issue. And what people don't know is the smoking has gone down over the years significantly. And we think it doesn't matter. We think secondhand smoke doesn't matter. Those little things have big impact. The impact of smoking on health is why cardiovascular disease, diabetes, hypertension are the 3 leading, and then of course cancer after that are the 4 leading causes of death, with heart disease being the first. And it would not be that were it not for smoking first. Changing the narrative about our community. Only we can do that. I keep saying, I'll keep saying it, I've been saying it, nobody's coming to save us. Just like in your own house. If there's something wrong, you gotta fix it. You gotta address it. Otherwise, it's gonna be a cancer on your house the same way cancer is a cancer in your body. Health services, outreach, barriers, we need to hear from you. If we don't know about it and we can't engage the community, we cannot fix it. And you can't then hold us accountable, because then we'd be like, we didn't know. So it's really, really important. We talked about affordable housing. I'm gonna say this too. Most people in this country are middle, and lower middle income. That, by the way, carries the weight in terms of the federal and state taxes that enables services to be available. Federal government services, state government services. It is clearly not the wealthy, it's not the billionaires. It's the people, teachers, paramedics, attorneys, physicians, and we think that all those people are rich. It is the middle, and lower middle, and some upper middle income. But your millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires, that is not what supports government services for the many. And the only way that we can hold government accountable, I don't care what level, is by being engaged. For 10 years, I invited people to hold me accountable, and I'm gonna invite everybody to hold your mayor accountable, hold your city council members accountable. I promise you, when you show up, the votes that people take, the narrative that people assume on your behalf will be a lot more akin to your needs and your wishes than when you are not in that room. Phone books. I've been seeing them. I see them at Walmart, maybe at least once a year. And maybe we can find out where they're located if they're anyplace else. But there are still phone books. And then just access to services, access to information. That's one of the reasons we're doing this. We are going to ramp up eventually our website. We are doing our best to make information available. We're going to engage in rebranding and refreshing. And we've got to put the information out there and engage in public awareness and public education about the resources that are available, the services that are available, and the opportunities to engage so that government is something that is of and by the people and not just that thing over there and those meetings and those votes over there that I really don't know what's going on. To some extent, people are right. You voted for us. You expect us to go do the work and do our jobs, and that's right. But part of that is people being aware and knowing what's out there for you to help you. Because again, billionaires, millionaires, multimillionaires don't have no problems accessing healthcare services. They don't have any problems getting a permit for their businesses, right? They don't have any problems getting financing when they want to start a business. But the small business owners across this country are the individuals who undergird our economy. These are people who may not even have employees, may not even be able to really pay themselves. But they provide a service. We have to support them. We have to support our community, and it starts here. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And don't forget to fill out your surveys. Before I leave, thank you very, very much, Camara Seals. And I'm going to ask you and your committee to please stand. Thank you so much for the work you're doing. Because y'all, stuff doesn't just appear. Stuff doesn't just appear. The work happens with people making a commitment, and they aren't employees. They are civic-minded citizens, and their work isn't finished, because I'm gonna be looking for that report. Thank you.
You do the next steps? Okay. We're going to now go to our next steps, and thank you so much for everyone who took time out to come out and share your thoughts.
Thank you. So now we're wrapping up. So as part of our wrap up, we wanted to talk about next steps. So as part of this committee, we have an assignment, and we've had about 5 meetings. We will have, and we've had about, I think it was 4 of us taking notes. And so we're going to compile this. We're going to start working on our report. If you so I'm gonna give you an email address. Some of you in here have my email address. But if you have additional thoughts or I want to hear from you. Now you got the survey. You got to take the survey. And we really need you all to give it to your churches, pastor. Encourage people to take the surveys, okay? To take the survey. But if you need to send, you need your voice lifted up, send me an email. It's KymaraSeals@yahoo.com. Kymara Seals, KYMARASEALS @yahoo.com. And in the subject line, put, what's a good word? In the subject line. Say what now? Well, I need something in the subject line because I get so many, social impact. That's it, thank you. Social impact, because I get so many emails. So put social impact, Ms. Fox. It's open for 5 days? What date? Give me a date. The 12th. The survey is open to the 12th because we have our next committee meeting on the 13th. Yeah, so will it be open to the 13th? The 12th, at midnight? Well, to 5. Come on, Bree. Come on, Brianna. She said 5 o'clock. Yeah, we got to have time to compile it, right. Yeah, because we're trying to do some work that Wednesday before our meeting on Thursday. So yeah, so thank you for that question. So the survey is live until Wednesday, March the 12th at 5 o'clock. So you all please get it in, because this is about your voice being heard, your recommendation. You know, this is how you have your input, okay? Committee, am I forgetting anything? Anything? Yes, Mayor.
I'm sorry, I meant to do this before, but I just wanted, and you may have already done this, but I wanted to be sure and recognize Councilman Fells, who's here tonight. If you could stand up, please. I know you just want to wave.
Thank you.
Oh,
he was here.
And then Chief Howell.
Chief Howell, thank you. Absolutely. Our fire chief.
Chief of Staff.
Chief Campbell. Yeah, I saw him.
Lori's been here. She's the leader.
Yeah.
She's the resource. But please stand. She is our fearless director over at Economic Development.
That I failed to return that I failed to return a call to. And apologize as soon as she walked in the building. So please forgive me. Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we did recognize elected officials at the beginning, but we left out our fire chief. Sorry about that, Chief. All right, I think we have covered all of our bases. Committee, we have a committee photo right now, so don't leave. And then we got a quick meeting. So we get together, we have to take advantage of this time, right? We got another meeting after the meeting. Yes, we do. Do not leave, my committee. We meet to meet. We got a meeting after the meeting. All right, so that's it. Thank you all so much for coming, and feel free to send me an email. Thank you all so much.